Have you ever seen an animal in such a bad state that it just breaks your heart? A look in their eyes that tells a story of neglect and desperation? That's exactly what Betsy Rose, a seasoned rancher, saw one day, and it changed her life and theirs forever. It all started with a frantic phone call. A friend told Betsy about 3 horses in a nearby town, living in truly awful conditions. The owner was unable to care for them, and they were starving, their bones sticking out, their spirits all but broken. Without a second thought, Betsy loaded up her trailer. She didn't know what she was walking into, but she knew she couldn't turn her back. When she arrived, the scene was worse than she could have imagined. 3 gaunt figures stood in a muddy, barren paddock. A mare, a gelding, and a young filly. They were covered in filth, their coats matted and dull. But it was their eyes that hit her the hardest, a mixture of fear and a tiny, flickering glimmer of hope. They were so weak they could barely stand. The filly, in particular, looked like she wouldn't make it through another day. The owner, overwhelmed and clearly in a tough spot himself, was ready to surrender them. He told Betsy, "Just take the one you think you can save." But as Betsy looked at these 3 desperate souls, she knew she couldn't choose. How could you pick one to live and leave the others to their fate? Looking at the owner and then at the horses, she made a promise, both to him and to them. She said, "I'll take everyone." Loading them onto the trailer was a delicate process. They were so fragile. The journey back to her ranch, Healing Hearts, was filled with a mix of anxiety and determination. She knew the road ahead would be long and difficult. Rescuing an animal is one thing, but rehabilitating them, especially when they're this far gone, is a monumental task. It requires round-the-clock care, specialized food, veterinary attention, and most of all, an incredible amount of patience and love. Back at Healing Hearts Ranch, the real work began. She named them Grace, Trooper, and Hope. Grace, the mare, was the most timid. It was clear she'd endured the worst of the neglect. Trooper, the gelding, was protective of the little filly, Hope, despite his own weakness. And little Hope, well, she was a fighter from the start. The first few weeks were critical. Betsy worked closely with her veterinarian. The horses were put on a careful refeeding plan. When a horse is starved, you can't just give them all the food they want. Their systems can't handle it, and it can be fatal. So it was small, frequent meals of special feed, slowly reintroducing their bodies to nutrition. It was a slow, painstaking process. Betsy spent countless hours just sitting with them in their clean, soft-bedded stalls. She would talk to them in a calm, soothing voice, letting them get used to her presence, letting them know they were finally safe. She wasn't just healing their bodies. She was trying to heal their spirits too. She had to teach them that not all humans would cause them pain. There were setbacks, of course. Days when Grace would shy away from her touch, days when Trooper seemed to lose his will to fight. Little Hope had a particularly tough time, battling infections due to her weakened immune system. There were nights Betsy barely slept, checking on them, worrying about them, praying they would pull through. Many people would have given up. It was expensive, it was emotionally draining, and there were no guarantees. But Betsy had made a promise. Slowly, incredibly, a transformation began to happen. The first sign was a flicker of interest in their eyes. Then a soft nicker when Betsy approached with food. The day Grace finally allowed Betsy to gently stroke her neck, without flinching away, tears streamed down Betsy's face. It was a small moment, but it was a massive victory. As the weeks turned into months, the physical changes were astounding. Their coats started to regain their shine. Muscle began to cover their once protruding ribs. They started to look like horses again. Trooper began to show his playful personality, nudging Betsy for treats. And Hope, the little filly who was so close to death, was now trotting and even bucking in the pasture, full of life and energy. But the most beautiful change was the one you couldn't see as easily. The fear in their eyes was replaced with trust. They would come to the fence when they saw Betsy, whinnying a greeting. They learned to be a herd again, grazing peacefully in the green pastures of Healing Hearts Ranch, a stark contrast to the muddy pen where she found them. The story of Grace, Trooper, and Hope is a powerful reminder of the resilience of animals and the incredible impact one person as compassion can have. Betsy didn't just save 3 horses. She gave them a second chance at life. She saw past the filth and the bones and saw the beautiful souls underneath. Her vow, "I'll take everyone," wasn't just a statement. It was a commitment that she honored with every fiber of her being. Today, if you visit Healing Hearts Ranch, you'll see 3 happy, healthy horses living their best lives. Their journey from desperation to salvation is a testament to the power of kindness. It shows that even in the darkest of situations, there is always hope. And it all started because one person refused to look away and chose compassion over convenience. Stories like this are happening all around us, carried out by everyday heroes like Betsy. It's a reminder that we can all make a difference. Whether it's adopting a rescue animal, volunteering at a shelter, or simply speaking up for those who can't speak for themselves. Thank you for watching their incredible story. If it touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe for more inspiring stories of rescue and hope.